Welcome to the 2026 Milan Games USA postgame live presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Team USA has punched their ticket into the gold medal game. That is Arthur Staple. I am Jonny Lazarus. We're going to talk about it with all of you. Arthur, let's get right to it. That was probably what I expected every preliminary game to look like. And I couldn't have imagined a better time for Team USA to find their game and actually put on a butt whooping over Slovakia. What did you make of that? What's the story? What is your takeaway from that game?
Yeah. I think the start was really what determined it all, and that's what you needed from the U.S. team because Slovaks are only winning that matchup if they can catch a team off guard or kind of jump on them a little bit, get the goalie into it. Lavai I think he surprised Finland in that opener to the whole tournament, which is how kind of the Slovaks got the ball rolling. He's not able to do that here. Good shot from Dylan Larkin. Looked like it ramped up the Slovak defenseman's stick a little bit, but
bad change too by them, huh?
Yeah, you want to just jump on them, and they were able to do that. Great look up the ice by Zach Werenski to get them started. And even 1-0 through that whole first period, it never felt like the U.S. was in any danger at all throughout that 1st period. And then Tage Thompson with an incredible rocket from the OV spot there in the final minute. For those final minute goals, we know are killers. So I kind of felt like it's probably over at 1-0, but it's definitely over at 2-0. And then
yeah, you texted me right away when Larkin scored. It's over. See you Sunday.
I said we could have started the pod right then. Yeah. But yeah, they just listen. We know what kind of team they have. We know all the complaints about they didn't take this guy, they didn't take that guy. Mike Sullivan, and you and I know this because we watch a lot of Ranger games. Mike Sullivan had the Rangers, an inferior team to Team USA, playing incredibly good defense for the first month of the season. I think the way that they've played, the way that they've killed penalties, Slovaks got 4 power plays in the first 27 minutes or so of that game.
Yeah.
They gave him nothing. And that, to me, is the sign of, and obviously they've got scoring firepower. You see what Jack Hughes did in the second period, and he's not getting major minutes or anything. But they are built to take a lead and just clamp down and choke the life out of a team. And they did that today, and it was kind of evident right from the start.
So I actually want to get a comment in from our chat, and this is J-Rock, who's always a loyal chat contributor for Morning Cup of Hockey, and usually sarcastic, but this one, he's saying, totally serious question that's interesting if you look at the totality of the players. In a gold medal, winner take all, one singular game, who do you want, Binner or Hellebuyck?
I mean, right now I want Connor Hellebuyck. I want Connor Hellebuyck behind that U.S. defense. I'm sure we can, once we finish talking about this game, and there isn't a ton to talk about, but for the gold medal game, I think the reason that you like the U.S., and it's an unbiased opinion, it's not just the goalie matchup. Hellebuyck, I think, is a better goalie than Binnington right now. It's how they're playing in front of him. They're not giving up a ton. Like I said, the penalty kill, you look at what guys like Tkachuk and JT Miller are doing. Canada has really leaned into offense, and they've had to in these last 2 games. They've been trailing, and they've been desperate. But I think with their D, they're just not defending as well as the U.S. team is. So you give me Hellebuyck, but also give me this U.S. D core and some of their bottom 6 forwards to defend a lead or a tie game. And I feel like that's what's going to give the U.S. the edge.
I see another comment from Walter Barker, and a thing that could give the U.S. the edge, and we've all talked about it throughout the tournament, but he said Quinn Hughes is going to play 40 minutes on Sunday. And while I do kind of agree, Quinn actually, while he looked unbelievable, like if you just watch the game, Quinn had the puck, it seemed like the whole entire time he was out there. He only played 21 minutes, 23 seconds. He was actually -2 in this game, which I found interesting. Like, I didn't necessarily realize who was on. Like, Quinn Hughes played amazing. I don't care that he was -2 in a 6-2 game. But I just found that interesting when I was looking at the stats. I was like, I didn't even realize Quinn was out there on those goals.
I mean, that third period was really just get through it without anything bad happening. But I also kind of feel like, and we can talk about how great Jack looked, and he did look great. He's still not getting a ton of shifts, but I feel like, and you and I and Ruppert talked about it on our show last week. He is the wild card because he started so low in the lineup that you can put him anywhere and kind of energize that group. Kyle Connor had that spot on the third line with Larkin and Tage Thompson. Didn't really work out. Clayton Keller got a little bit of run. They were kind of rotating through guys until Jack jumped in there last game and thought he looked really good and kind of energized that group, gave them a third line to really be dangerous up the ice. And tonight, he was the best player on the ice when he was out there, and that line looked electric with Larkin getting the first one, Thompson on the power play, and then Jack getting his two. He's the X factor, and he really showed it tonight. And I feel like he didn't do a ton, I thought, against Sweden. I mean, nobody really did. It was such a tight game,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's how it's going to be on Sunday. So you're right. I think Quinn is going to play a ton, but this is going to be Mike Sullivan versus John Cooper. You go back, Penguins Lightning, play it late in the playoffs, a game 6 or a game 7. This is going to be some chess match stuff, I think, on Sunday. So I don't know that we're going to see a lot of razzle dazzle from anybody or somebody play 30, 35 minutes unless it's, unless you need a goal or you're trying to press. I just think this is going to be a lot of coaching strategy, a lot of, thrust and parry. Not really. You're not going to see, Harlem Globetrotter stuff like we saw in a lot of these U.S. and Canada games. Just my feeling, because they are so evenly matched.
Yeah, that first period, I'm expecting it to be like a feeling out match, right? Like last year, at least in Four Nations, they had played before, so they kind of knew what to expect. This game, while it's pretty much the same team for both sides, obviously a couple of additions on each side with Tage Thompson, who we'll get to in a minute, Tom Wilson on the other side, Macklin on the other side. Like it will feel more like I think a feeling out process, like I just mentioned. Like I don't think both teams will take a lot of chances. Probably low event game, right? Like one of those 2-1, maybe 1-0, if we're lucky, 3-2 type games.
Just what everyone online is hoping for.
Waking up at 8 a.m. for. And then if you're on the West Coast, 4 a.m. But, one thing this is going to be like a cheesy kind of question, but I feel like it's valid, Arthur. Before I ask it, I just want to put up the graphic of our player of the game because we were just talking about Jack Hughes. So, Zach, if you can whip that up. Vic is actually not with us today. It is Zach Phillips, the lovely producer from The Sheet. Vic is still traveling home from our live show last night. So, today's player of the game was Jack Hughes. Two goals, only 11 minutes and I believe 14 seconds. 11 minutes and 7 seconds of ice. He was +2, 3 shots on goal. So a great performance from Jack. Another big performance from Jack when it felt like the team needed someone outside of the top to produce. But the question I'm going to ask you, and you could tell me if it's stupid and unfair, who's more important to the USA team right now, the Tkachuk brothers or the Hughes brothers?
I think it's the Hughes brothers. And I say that to this point, I feel like the Tkachuk brothers need to do it in a positive way going forward. I don't think we're going to see the line brawl off the puck drop like we saw in the championship match in the Four Nations. Although that would be awesome if it did happen. But that line, to me, with Eichel between those two guys, is going to be matched up most likely with, probably with McDavid's line to be more of a neutralizer. I think that's why you have those guys as your top line, because Eichel, to me, he got my MVP vote last year in the league. He got my Selke vote. I think he is this incredibly underrated 200-foot guy. Maybe he's properly rated now.
He's properly rated now. Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like he is the unquestioned. He's as a 200-foot player. He's in the Barkov conversation. He's prime Anze Kopitar. He's probably a little bit more skilled than Patrice Bergeron. Maybe a little less skilled without the puck. But
Definitely
this is a guy
more skilled. Definitely more skilled.
He's a guy who's in the elite of the elite conversation at both ends of the ice. So I feel like you're going to match them up against McDavid, but you're not going to ask them to you're asking them to tie shifts. You're not asking them to win because you have Matthews behind them. Now you have Larkin's line with Jack on it going well. You have a little bit more, jam with the veteran fourth line.
Assuming Tage will play. Also,
yeah, you think Tage will play, and if he doesn't, maybe Clayton Keller steps in there and tries to step to the fore in a big moment. But I just feel like, that Canada's top guys, especially when they load it up with McKinnon, you want the puck, you want to be up the ice, you want to be moving fast, and I think for the U.S. team, the Tkachuk boys are going to have to put away the sideshow nonsense at least early in that game and try to be hard checking, forechecking guys, disrupting, and doing the things that they do really well without the puck, as opposed to scrums and things like that. So, I think I think it's really been, you obviously have to get here, and they almost didn't because of the quarterfinals. But every other game, you've seen Mike Sullivan and that coaching staff building towards this moment of our top line that's produced a ton too, and has been really good offensively, and has also gotten under team skin, is going to be the line that's going to help us win this gold medal, because they can shut down McDavid, and especially if they put McKinnon with those guys.
I don't think you could have asked for a better, like, I guess, day today, right? Canada has another scare. They have to come back from down 2-0. Team USA takes care of business from the jump and are feeling really good going into that gold medal game. But I did see another comment, and we love to get the comments in the live chat. So if you are listening, feel free to chime in. First VAR Rifleman said, if the US gets the lead, they cannot play like they did against Sweden with the lead. That is exactly what Czechia and Finland tried. That is a horrible idea. Best D against Canada is offense. But that's the question. Is USA's offense good enough to keep the puck off of Canada's sticks? Like, Canada is loaded up front. Like, you might have to protect a lead against Canada.
Yeah. I liked what Mikko Rantanen said after the game today, where he was like, we defended every shift after we took the lead for 25 or 30 seconds, and nobody in the world can do anything with a puck after you do that, which is totally true. And I understand there's always this debate. It's kind of a chicken or the egg. Like, did they sit back, or were they just gassed from defending the best players in the world, or Canada's best players?
You always have to expect a push. Always.
Yeah, it's more the latter. It's Team Canada. It's, even without Sid, they've got Kinnan, they've got McDavid, Celebrini, probably the best forward in the tournament, maybe outside of McDavid. It's just been incredible. You've got guys behind them. They put that kind of meat sack line of Bennett, Wilson, and Marchand together, and it helped really turn the tide in that game against Finland. But those are all incredibly skilled guys, and they're going to have, if the U.S. gets up a goal or gets up 2 goals, you're going to have to defend. It's not sitting back against this group. So I'm interested to see what they do. I think you have to stay out of the penalty box if you're in that situation with the U.S. Yeah. Obviously, Canada's power play is ridiculous. Even though the U.S. penalty kill has been great, they haven't faced anything like this. So, I agree they shouldn't sit back, but I don't think they're going to choose to sit back. I think it's just what happens when a team with that much skill comes at you.
And not to be a jinx, I know people think I am a jinx, but can't you just see this story playing out? Team USA's penalty kill has been perfect through the whole tournament, and Team Canada breaks through on the power play to win the goal. Like, you just see that coming, right? Like, that's always how it goes. Like, they're teams that, are the highest scoring teams in a tournament get shut out in the gold medal game. Like, you always see these kinds of things happen in this tournament, and that's what's really scary. But to your point, Arthur, the US PK, they've got to feel great about their chances, especially right now. I mean, we can talk about Canada a little bit. Like, do you think Crosby plays? I don't. We haven't gotten like a report or anything, but from what it sounds like, I'm not like quite positive he will.
I think he'll dress and probably not play. I think it'll be like Steve Stamkos for Tampa way back during the COVID final, where his groin, I think, was completely torn, and he just put the jersey on, took one shift so he could
score. Did he score? Or he scored earlier. He scored earlier in the series, not in the
right. So that part, to me, Sid is the ultimate captain and leader. I think you're hearing guys saying that he was influencing them and kind of urging them on and saying the right things even when he wasn't dressed today. I don't know that he needs to be in uniform, but I also don't know. These are guys. They only need 12 forwards. You don't need 13 forwards. It kind of disrupts the rhythm because you're used to playing with 12 all the time everywhere else. Frankly, when it gets down to it, they're going to cut down to 6 or 7 guys at the end of a game. They've got guys that can go forever at the top of their forward group. So I could see him dressing. Maybe he takes one shift. Maybe he takes the opening draw, and then that's it. But I feel like they can still win without him. I understand how important he is to them. And how important a player he still is. It's not symbolic at his age. He's still one of the best, but I don't know if I see him playing a big role here, even if they need a Sidney Crosby type situation. They got enough good guys to beat the U.S. without him.
I agree with you. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't dress. Just having him out there to calm the bench down. If they do even need like a big face-off win, like Crosby's great in the draw. Like, who knows if they need a defensive draw with like 10 seconds left, I could see them sending him out there. Back to the U.S. side, everyone's kind of like obsessed with this conversation. To me, it's like somewhat of a you're better with words. It's like a nothing burger. That's a saying, right? That's a thing.
It's a 50-cent word these days. You're good.
Everyone's talking about Kyle Connor, Clayton Keller. Does it even matter which one of those guys plays? Like, like Keller got 4 minutes the other night, 3 minutes tonight. Both guys have not really shown much. I don't think it's going to make a difference if they're in or out.
No, and if I understand that these are some team. This is the best. These are the best players on two teams in the NHL, and you're used to seeing them play at a high level. But
and no disrespect to each guy.
No,
they still are that. You know?
Yeah. It's a tough tournament. You're not if you're Kyle Connor, you are not cracking the top 6 on this group. And that fourth line, however you structure it now, it seems to be Miller, Nelson, Trocheck. Like, they are out there to take D-zone draws. Like, you, as the third line, you see what Jack did in 11 minutes tonight. You got to make the most of those minutes. And for me, that third line is going to be super important on Sunday, because you're going to get them out there a lot against, whether it's Doughty, Parayko, Sanheim, Harley. You're getting them out against the Canadian D that don't play a lot, that are probably the most vulnerable to really, to a good cycle and to a lot of speed. You got to take advantage. And Kyle Connor wasn't able to do that in a couple games he played. Clayton Keller went in there knowing he was the 13th or 14th guy. Like, you look at Canada. And Bo Horvat was pretty much the last guy picked for that team. And we talk about Bo Horvat a lot on our show, and I've watched him play a lot. You got to be able to do what they ask you to do. Bo Horvat was there to kill penalties, little second power play, take some D-zone draws as the number 4 center. And now when Crosby's out, he gets bumped up to the top 6 because he's playing well. You got to do what you need to do with whatever's tasked to you. And Connor wasn't able to do that. And Keller hasn't really gotten an opportunity, but that wasn't in the cards for him. He was there as an extra guy, essentially.
Same guy. First VAR Rifleman says, I still say Connor as the 13th. If someone gets hurt in the top 6, give the man a chance. To me, it's like,
are we quibbling with what they've done so far? They had one so-so game out of 5.
Yeah.
And they still won it because they have incredible talent and skill. So we could be sitting here if they lose that game to Sweden. Yeah, pile on. Say, where was Jason Robertson? Where was Cole Caulfield? Yeah. Where was Connor? Absolutely. But this is how, if you watch the Canada-Finland game, like, Finland and Sweden play very similarly in the medal rounds, and they always have for even before NHLers were allowed, and that's just their structure. They play low-scoring games. They play to defend hard and chip pucks out and counterattack to beat you that way. It's the way a lot of NHL teams play that don't have the same level of talent as some of the big boys. So I don't know that you can go off that U.S.-Sweden game and say, obviously, the U.S. needs more scoring. They've scored plenty. Yeah. We've got lots of guys who can score, and those guys are scoring. So I don't know if I have too many complaints there.
And even in that, this gold medal game, are we at the point now where you don't have to question the roster? Or is this where not. I would think. But, the gold medal game, it's like, oh, if Team USA gets shut out, are Caulfield and Robertson really that difference? If the top 6, those guys weren't going to play top 6. So, you know what I mean? It's a tricky conversation now at this point, I feel like.
I don't think there's any way, if both teams score at least 3, I don't think there's any way the U.S. wins this game. I don't think they can win a trading chances, trading goals kind of game. They're going to win a low-scoring game. They've got the better goalie. They got the better D-core. My only quibble with the lineup all the way through is I would rather to see Adam Fox than Jake Sanderson. I don't think Jake Sanderson has done a whole lot in this tournament, but he hasn't played a whole lot. Would Adam Fox be going in there and paired up
too?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just about roles, and I understand where Bill Guerin was coming from with not taking Adam Fox, because if Adam Fox isn't on the top power play unit and he isn't in the top 4, is he a guy that helps you? Maybe not. But outside of that, the time for quibbling over roster stuff is long gone. Both teams are where they wanted to be. This is the matchup we all wanted to see. And if it comes down to a mistake here, an overtime goal, whatever it's going to be, we're not going to say if they only had Jason Robertson as their 12th forward, then obviously things would have been different.
A couple more things in the chat here before we wrap up. First thing, haven't seen anything online. Meadowlander wrote, anyone know what Tage's status is? They did say precautionary reasons, so you got to think like if he's feeling a little bit bruised on his foot, why go out there and play in a 5-0 game?
Yeah.
Let's let him get some extra. I was actually kind of surprised that Hellebuck came out for the third. Honestly, I would have thought maybe they go to a back in a 5-0 game. Like, why not give Hellebuck the extra rest? I don't know. That was a thought I had.
I feel like that's all rhythm stuff. You don't do that with guys regularly.
But what
so
if he
you
got
just
hurt?
let them. Yeah, what if it's hockey? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you just let guys, especially a guy like Hellebuck, who's rhythm and routine is super important to him, like most goalies. You let them do what they're used to. Don't disrupt it. And Slovakia made that move with Lavai because they want to win bronze, and they knew that they were under attack that whole game, so there was no point in putting him in there. But to me,
those numbers
Hellebuck,
are insane.
Yeah, he's been really good. I don't think he's been super tested in a lot of games, which again, real testament to their team defense and how they've been playing with the puck, without the puck. They've just been really good in the D zone. Their breakdowns really haven't been egregious. That's what, if you're just looking at the track record, I feel like Canada's been a lot looser defensively because they're going for offense, because their guys play such a high tempo. I feel like there's room there for the U.S. to be counterattacking, to be forechecking and disrupting, and they've got the better goalie. So I still come back to that. I still feel like that's the edge for me going in.
All right, last question. Well, I guess this was just kind of answered, but Carousel Vertigo 509 said, "What does Canada have that the U.S. doesn't?" I'd say just the top end talent is a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
The top end talent. I mean, yeah. I was just saying. Well, I was just gonna say, you go back to that championship game last year. It's McKinnon who scores the first goal of the game. It's McDavid who scores the winner, and our goal scorers in that game were Brady and Jake Sanderson. It's like the top guys are just at different levels. We've seen McDavid, McKinnon, even Celebrini in this tournament, Crosby, Makar, those guys take over. Our top guys, like offensively, like, yeah, Eichel's been really good, but hasn't like necessarily exploded with numbers. Matthews has been good, hasn't necessarily exploded with numbers. Like, he had 4 basically grade A chances today. None of them go in. He got robbed on 2 of them. Quinn Hughes, obviously you can speak to him, but even with Quinn, it's not like he's putting up crazy numbers, so I just think that's the clear biggest difference between the two teams is that those guys can really just take it over.
Yeah, and if they do, tip your hat to them, because those guys are the elite of the elite. I think any country, any team would take McDavid and McKinnon and Makar. I understand there's a Quinn versus Makar debate now. I'm still taking Cale pretty much 10 times out of 10. It's very close, but I feel like he's got the physicality to play at a level that Hughes doesn't. But I think the U.S. is just a deeper team, and it's a more cohesive unit. Like we were saying, the top line is a line that's not only can score on you, but is going to rough you up. Is gonna defend well. They're all 3 of them are elite guys without the puck. And I think Matthews, it's right to call him the number 2 center on this team, because he's not a primary threat, and that's okay. No. They're not built that way. Canada will live and die with McDavid and McKinnon and Celebrini, especially without Sid. Those other guys are all impressive players, and you could see that Bennett Marsh, Brad Marchand's been a clutch player for 12 years or so. Like there's guys that could come through for them, obviously, and make the difference. But I feel like I'm with you that like if the top 3 or 4 guys for Canada are feeling it and they get a couple early, it's probably going to be lights out for the U.S. But if they don't, then I think the U.S. has the edge the rest of the way.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up here and get ready for Sunday morning?
I don't know. So who do you got? Who do you got, Johnny, for Sunday? It's going to be too early to get a prediction out of you before it starts.
Yeah. So. Yeah. No, I'll be up posting that Muggsy Jeans video with the free jeans giveaway. Shit, man. I you know what we didn't mention, not saying this has anything to do with the game, but I loved last year when Team USA, Werenski, they won the World Championships. They went in the locker room and got Johnny Gaudreau's jersey. It was great to see Jane, Guy, Meredith, and the kids at the game. The energy around Team USA throughout the tournament, I think, has been great. And Canada has faced a little bit more adversity through the tournament, and maybe tomorrow is the point where Canada crumbles under it. So I really thought it was going to be Canada the whole way. And after you asked me that question, I initially thought Canada, but I really do feel it might be Team USA that comes out on top on Sunday morning. And yeah, everyone obviously listening could say it's biased, but I've been saying Canada the whole way up until this point. So
yes,
this morning's game,
in the group chat, Johnny's been very down on the US. So
very down. And
what's your final score?
I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 Team USA. Okay. The goal scorers.
Oh, well, that's specific. All right.
I'll pick one goal scorer, though. Matt Boldy finds a way to get one. Matt Boldy's been way too quiet with how many chances he's had for the tournament. I think Boldy finds a way to get one. And that's my final thought. You? Who's your one goal scorer and prediction?
I'm going to say 4-2 US.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm going to give one to Charlie McAvoy. I feel like he's been a rock.
He's been unbelievable.
He's been throwing his body around. Like, this is a guy who lost half his jaw to a puck, not that long ago. Just got the bubble off while they were over there. And he's been throwing his body around. He's been playing a ton of minutes. I love what he's doing. I think he gets one, and that's going to fire everybody up. And I think the U.S. is going to go wire winning this one. And not that it's not going to be close, but I feel like they're going to be in command the whole way.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be early. Going to be tiring. Going to be exhausting. Going to be emotional. But it's been a great ride so far. Jeff Marek and Tyler Yaremchuk will be the post-game hosts for Canada and USA on Sunday. So this will be the final USA post-game show. Arthur, thank you for stopping by. Zach Phillips, thank you for producing. Chat, everyone, thank you for contributing. Vic, thank you for listening, even though you couldn't help produce today. But we love you all. It's been a great tournament and can't wait for the final score on Sunday. Hopefully we come out on top. Talk to you then. If you're locked into the Milan games, you're in the right place. Catch the USA Milan Games post-game show right here with instant reaction, breakdown, and what it means. Don't miss the Canada post-game shows with Jeff Marek and Tyler. Follow the Quest for Gold Women's Hockey Report with Irfan Ghaffar. So